Okay, take it away.
Oh, you want me to do the
If you
welcome?
like,
This
I
is
can.
the Keptn community meeting on July 20th, 2022. A reminder that we abide by the Keptn Code of Conduct. Play nice. This is a special session. It's dedicated to an early view of our GSoC projects for this year. We have 4 of them, and the phase 1 ends next Monday, and they will all be making formal midterm presentations and being evaluated. So this is a preliminary, a chance for us to give them some feedback and them to get any help they have, and mostly just be wowed and stunned by how marvelous they are. So format, we're gonna so we've got 15 minutes for everybody. Let's try to do it 12, and then if we've got more discussions we want afterwards, we can anybody who wants to can hang around for them. But let's try to make sure that everybody gets to get in the first hour. So turning it over to first project is Meha with mentor Brad and Thomas. So Brad, take it away.
Sure. Okay. So what I might do is start off with. Are we going to have about 15 minutes for each project, Meg? Are you thinking?
Yes.
Just so I know how much time I have. Okay. So what I might do is just start off giving some context of the project. So this project is for integrating the GitOps tools, such as Argo and Flux at the moment, is in scope. So essentially, we're extending GitOps with CI, event-driven CI/CD, and it doesn't have to be CI/CD, but we get a notification from the tool that we're out of sync, and then we essentially invoke we trigger a Keptn sequence. So I'll share my screen and then let's go over. Sorry, I just have one screen today as well. So everyone can see the notification controller?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so in Flux, it's sort of broken down into components as well, similar to Keptn. So one component is the notification controller, and this is responsible for handling the communication. Yeah, essentially, it is what it says. It is a notification controller, and it handles communication between event. Well, I wouldn't really say they're events, but they're called notifiers. So a notifier can be like Slack, Teams, Discord, generic webhook. There's a lot of different notifiers, and it also does the other way as well. So you can have webhooks on GitHub, etc. And then each of those down below, you'll see the GitOps reconcilers. So the source controller, customized controller, Helm controller, they talk to the notification controller to let the notification controller when certain things occur. So there's 2 concepts. The first one is an alert. So this is now this looks a little bit, okay, here's an example. So what we're saying here is that give me an alert when you can specify your event severity. And so give me an alert when the event source is a filter. So you could say when a Git repository has changed, when a Helm release has changed, when a customize has changed, and you can you can filter this right down so you can have values for name, namespace, labels, etc. So when an event happens on those specifications, it will then trigger the alert. So that's how the notification controller, you can customize it to do alerts for whatever you want. And you can see here there's another concept of provider. So the provider will tell you what to go then and do with. Okay, the alert has been triggered. Now tell me what to do with it. So you see here that provider is, in this case, it's a Slack. So it will send, you can see that it's sending a webhook, similar to if anyone's seen the webhook service in Keptn, Andy has a demo of setting Slack up. It's pretty much exactly the same thing. So you set up your webhook, and then the code knows how to massage the payload to how Slack expects it. And you, in your secret ref for your provider, you have your headers, so you can put your Keptn API token in the header. And then, so at the moment, the challenge that we have with Flux today is that it's an opinionated payload, so you can't customize what it is. So obviously that's not ideal for setting a cloud event, because in Argo it's templated. So an example of what that payload looks like is here. So you can see this is me just mimicking what Flux sends, the notification controller. So you'll see here we're using the podtato head as well. So this is saying a Git repository has changed in the Flux system, and then it has a little bit of metadata, so not too much, but this is enough to. So that was a challenge. You can't output a cloud event, so therefore until ideally we want to actually make the changes in Flux, so it's similar to Argo where you don't have to have another service that we have to maintain. So we've probably already got too many already, so they get hard to update for breaking changes and documents, and we ideally want to bring that back to Flux, and then Flux will just send the cloud event. So therefore that's the problem that we're trying to solve. So we've actually we have, if I just wondering what let me just get my code up, and we'll walk through the code. That won't be a second. Okay, so this is going to be the code. Okay, so what we've done is we've just made a Helm chart for this that will help folks to be able to play around with this and change different providers, different alerts as well. So we have been working with Adam to, the idea is that with their project, the K6, we can sort of merge these GSoCs together for testing, so we can help each other do testing. So we would do changes in Flux, and then we would trigger like a K6 test, which is quite cool. So we've done a bit of a README here as well. So the first thing you need is Flux, which is very easy to do. You get your GitHub token, and you just have another repository, similar to when you do your Keptn project with the shipyard. You need a repository, and this is the secret that I was talking about. So what we've done in this integration is the reason that we did a lot of this development is for in open source, you should do things that are the easiest to be accepted. So we haven't done any really, we can do this in as minimal lines of code as we need for Flux, and that's generally going to be accepted faster as well. So this is what you can do in Flux today. So you have the ability to pass your own headers in a secret. The address is the URL. In this case, we're using an internal. This is from the Helm chart, the service that we made. So we would put that to Keptn once we have the ability to send the cloud event. And you can see here that we've added body, and this is using Go templating to the minimum fields that you need is, as you probably know, when you're triggering the sequence, is the Keptn service, the project and the stage, which is defined in the shipyard file, except for the service. And then the type as well, which technically could be hard coded. No, actually it can't, because that's the event that we need to push to. So one example would be dev triggered, dev dot something dot triggered. And then if you want to get started as well, you can. We're just using the Helm releaser to build the charts every time we change it, and then that leverages GitHub pages as well. Yeah, and you can see that you can specify your Keptn URL there as well. So pretty much the only thing that you need to do. And then this is examples in the documentation of alerts that you can do. So we're testing with Potato Head. And you can see here, so this is the beauty of what we've done. So for easiest acceptance, this is the type I was talking about before too. So for easiest acceptance, we've put these key value pairs that we need for this template in the provided labels, because in Flux they use API machinery to get the Kubernetes object, which would be a provider, and this is already what they have. We can just call, and go provider.labels, and it will give us all of these, and then we can use a simple, few lines of code using the Go templating to flip that key value pair out.
And this is the shipyard. We haven't heard from Meha yet.
Okay. I thought it was just the mentor talking today. Sorry. Yeah. Oh. Sorry. Okay. Meha, do you want to talk more?
Yeah.
Yes, as Brad explained, we are yet to create the cloud event to trigger the Keptn sequences. So yes, I am do that thing in my computer right now.
Yeah.
Good.
Do you have any other updates?
No, what I have learned so far in this midterm, worked with job executor service, and yes, I have implemented that Slack webhook integration. So it's
she's done really good. We've been doing a lot of pair programming as well, because it is very advanced things that we're working on. We've got to do Golang, Kubernetes, GitOps, Keptn at the same time. So it's a massive learning curve.
Cool.
And then it's been cool seeing Meha answer questions in the help channel as well from things that she's learned, and it's helped other people that are picking it up. So it's been really awesome to see. So it's the GSoC's going really successful.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on so that everybody gets their 15 minutes in the first hour, and then we can hang around for questions and discussions. Does that make sense? Anybody?
Yeah, maybe. Sorry, I was confused. I thought the mentor, so maybe we can do 7.5 minutes for the mentor, then hand it to the mentee. I talk too much. Sorry.
We'll figure it out. Okay, next up, K6, Shainam and Adam and Pepe. Pepe's not here, so.
Oh. And I'll even you out, Brad. I'm going to hand it straight over to Janam. So the K6 project is obviously just to create an integration or the ability to run K6 from Keptn. So yeah, I'm just going to pass it straight across to Janam to demo or to explain where we are. I can see he is off mute, but I can't hear him.
Ah, but his screen is being shared. No, we're not here. Yeah, he's in chat. Am I audible? No.
Now I'm audible.
There you are.
There we
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks, Keptn. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I will start off with a brief introduction regarding what's K6. So K6 is a open source tool which is used for load testing, just like the JMeter integration that we have in the already in the organization, but it's more cloud native, we can say. But yeah, so the flow, it goes like this. So for K6 test, we have a K6 script which will be a JavaScript code, which will, this is just doing HTTP get on this test.k6.io, and it will get all the matrix, like how much was the latency and how much was the how many requests got failed and all that. So this is generally, yeah, so this is mainly it. These are the kind of matrix that we get, and we are trying to get this integration done for the of K6 for Keptn. So for that, for the first initial step, it was to see and look how K6 will perform and does job executor service run for it. So we did the exercise of running it via a job executor service, directly importing a K6 Docker image and then running it via job executor service, passing the test script. So this was the result. So we were able to do that, and job executor service was also able to fail the K6 script. So K6 has a feature called K6 thresholds. So what is it does is that based on the load testing, we can add thresholds like, hey, I want the P95 percentile of the request duration, the latency of the HTTP request should be less than, let's say, 200 milliseconds. So if the P95 95 percentile of the request is greater than 200, so here it's 284, so it will fail, and so that so the sequence in Keptn will also fail using job executor service. So yeah, this was done, and we also documented the tutorial for it. And after this, the next step was mainly how to use K6 extension. So what is K6 extension? K6 extension is basically way of, yeah, so K6 extension is basically a way of using K6 as a load testing tool and writing the data that K6 provides, the matrix that K6 provides, to a remote host like Prometheus or InfluxDB or anything. So K6 has this extensions. What we so this extensions have the ability to run the K6 and also output its matrix to the Prometheus or whatever output source we want. So data source we want. So over here for this instance, this is the repository for XK6 output Prometheus remote. So what we have to do is that we have to use this XK6 command to build its binary, and then use that binary, uh, providing the sufficient environment variables for this. So for this, we also tried to see if we can, make a Docker image for K6, make a Docker image of the binary K6, and after that run it using job executor service. So currently I was working on that. So for that, I was able to run the K6, but I was not exactly able to write the matrix to the Prometheus, output the matrix to the Prometheus, and I was facing some errors over here. It's mainly related to that endpoint that I need to give over here to write on the Prometheus. So for that, I'm fixing that. So for that, the Prometheus needs to be Prometheus. So K6 Keptn is running in Kubernetes cluster, so it was not able to interact with localhost Prometheus. So I had deployed it in Kubernetes cluster, and also enabled the remote write and all that, but still I'm facing some issues over that. So yeah, we'll work upon that. And another way of implementation that we came across is that we can also write a new service for K6 integration. So for that, we are still discussing whether we want to do this or we want to go with the job executor service way. So for this, I just had written a service. So a new Keptn service. So if I do a trigger over here, so what will happen is that my yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, so my service will receive the triggered event and it will sleep for 5 seconds, send the started event, the test.started event. And after that, it will sleep for 5 seconds, just a random sleep. And after that, it will send the finished event to the Keptn. So after this, I mean, in 5 or some seconds, it will get into a successful state over here. And so right now the code for this has been there, it's written. So the whole flow of getting the test.triggered event from the Keptn and sending started event and finished event. So the main, we can say, the main fruit of running K6 test is remaining. So that we can do, but first we also have to evaluate whether we need this or not. So I can also go through the code over here. Do we have time or no? I'll go in 2-3 minutes quickly. Yeah. So basically, this is the using Helm. I have created a Helm chart, so we can directly install this service in the Keptn namespace and directly basically find it over here in the integrations of Keptn, and we can add active subscriptions corresponding to it. And yeah, based whatever dev work we want, we can upgrade or restart the pod corresponding to that. And after that, this is the main function. So main function, what it does is that uh, it simply listens to the Keptn event. Yeah, so it starts a receiver and it keeps on receiving the
Sorry to interrupt, Jainam. We don't see the screen if you're sharing,
oh
which shows the code.
okay, yeah, sorry, I was sharing I mean I shared this. Yeah. Are you able to see the screen?
I can see the browser.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
There we go.
Yeah. Now you should be able to see. Yeah. So I just showed this flow of triggering the event and in my K6 service, and my K6 service will subscribe to this test.triggered event. And what it does is that it simply listens the event and sends a test.started event back to the Keptn, and after that just adds a normal sleep of 5 seconds and sends the finished event back to the Keptn. So this is the flow. So right now the main thing, so we just need to add the K6 test execution after in this step. So this part is remaining, and over here this is the main function. So what main function does, it simply starts the so we have the Helm charts for this, and what Helm charts does is that it deploys the K6 service to the Kubernetes cluster. So Keptn is able to see that integration and it can subscribe and all that. So this is the main Helm chart. So if we want to do any dev work, just make changes over here, build a Docker image and push it, and then restart the deployment of K6 service. So this flow can be used for the dev work, and over here it will just receive the events, and after that if it sees the, so what it does is that it checks the type of the event, and if it's a test.triggered event, then it will go to this uh, event handler. So we have this handle test.triggered event. It will take the Keptn instance and incoming event and data corresponding to it, and it will see if it's functional or not. The test strategy is functional or not. So there is a format of data which we need to send to the captain. So it checks that and see if it's functional and sends the started event, sleeps for 5 seconds, sends finished event. For now, over here, there will be the real implementation. And we also have a test event handler test. So what it does is that it simply mocks the test.triggered event and sends this payload to the sends this payload to the sends this payload and checks whether this handle test trigger event is working fine or not. So yeah, this is mainly it for this new Keptn integration and the job executor service state of the project.
Awesome. How long do we have left, Meg?
We're pretty close.
Okay.
Any questions, or should we call it enough and move on?
I'm happy to move on.
Yeah, let's do that then.
Yeah,
Suraj
thank you.
and Rajiv, go for it.
Hey, I'm audible. Hello.
Yes,
Hear
you
you.
are, Rajiv.
Yeah. Hey, hello everyone. So I'm sharing the screen. Yeah, I hope so. Screen is visible. So my new documentation engine for a Keptn, and main objective what we are facing. We have a doc engine which, and we have a lot of problem like versioning, multi-doc support. We don't have a search SEO. So that type of problem we are solving, and we had a discussion on which like frameworks or something tool we should use. So we had a comparison between Antora and Docusaurus, and we decided to move with Docusaurus. So like Docusaurus is like a React-based, like just an optimized way to make a doc site. It is open source tool by Facebook, and we have a lot of features which are like things supported by others. So yeah, so the face give over what was. So my work was in DocuStory website, adding a versioning support, adding a multi-doc support, doing the SEO, and also adding a search. So I'm going to showcase how the doc site look like. Have doc site, and let's search something. So now search we have in the Docusaurus. So let's search something, and the search whatever. Okay, so it won't work in. Okay, so whatever we are going to search it is coming from the latest version. So we have a latest version 0.17.x. So let's search something CLI. So this gives a CLI things. It works like that, and local search. We might move to the Algolia doc search. That is something like more because we have to apply for that doc search programs like also it's a local search. Okay, so next feature was adding a versioning support. So like earlier in Hugo, we are like manually adding it to add. So we have like versions like 0.15. This is not the latest version, 16 and 17. And also we have one more version next, like what is going to be next or something. So this is the latest version. Versions. We just have to like just and whatever the you want to edit. So what it does is like it duplicate the new like a new folder here. So we have version folder we have. So it is going to clone the latest version to a new folder, and we can go it and change the doc like something we want to change, like what the new version should contain and all. This is all about versioning. Okay, so we have we also improve the SEO. So when we go to this roadmap, this website, this and somewhere like what was somewhere. Like let's say to this check this in meta text. The meta image. So it should generate an image. There is no description of thing. Check us. So we have okay. So when you go to meta text, it's going to generate the description, the meta image, change it. And how we are doing it, right? Like we just have to just description and all in front matter of any document. Even we have our tags and keywords. So I just given one keyword. So when you go to the end of document, this is like older docs. We don't have any keyword or something tags and all. When you go to here tags, so roadmap Keptn, so we can tag it. Like if your roadmap is there, so we can tag. We can get all documents related to tag a roadmap. So we can define here all the tags here in the front matter. Even we can define image. So if you want something like every page should have some different image, so we can define that also. So this is all about improving the SEO of a page. So that the main feature, the multi-doc support. So let me see. So okay, so here we have so this is like docs, and here you have two more links, Keptn Go Utils, and this is a repo in Keptn. I just give an example here. I'm not sure about what repo we are going to put it here, and we have one more repo here, like this one. So we are fetching. DocuSource provide multi-docs support. So we have a docs folder here, and we can have a different and we can add content here. So as of now we are. So we wanted some script. So that's one. We wanted content. All the content from the like repository to the this is very nicely. So I'm working on as a GMD. So when we go to this, so we are not here. We are just okay. So when we go to use and release an okay, I think. Let's go to Keptn Go. So it's good here, and when we open this, any content here, we're just fetching the README file of that repository. Okay, fetching that repository README file. So we're using 0MD, but we want some action for it.
Whoa, did we lose you?
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Meanwhile, I can share a few things around the project as well. So, like Raji said, it's mostly like the version 2 of our documentation site that we have right now, and it attempts at fixing a lot of problems in the current documentation site, like Rajiv explained. We haven't transferred all the content from the old documentation website to the new one. We just have enough to demo the capabilities of the new documentation engine. And there are a lot of other features which are going to come in phase 2 as well. The demo that Rajiv is showing right now is the first draft we have, and we would really appreciate any kind of feedback for the actual demo next week. And if you have any questions around the engine, if you have any comments, any feedback, I would really appreciate it.
So we've got, what does everybody think? Should we move on and do Eric's, and then maybe by then Rajiv will be back and we can see if he has anything more? Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
Sounds good to
Okay.
me.
So, Eric, and I guess it's still Suraj.
Hello,
Take it
good morning.
away.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone can hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, so let me see here. Let me share my screen as well. Sorry, excuse my voice, it's a little bit early where I am, so I might sound a little bit raspy, I apologize. But yeah, I guess for me, like I'm really excited to see everyone's progress, like the other GSoC contributors and how far they've come. So really cool. I'll say the biggest update that I had is that in fact my timeline's a little bit different than the others, just because I was a little bit out of commission for the past few weeks, and so I had to extend my timeline into October. So in terms of progress, it won't be as impressive as the other contributors, but bear with me. I'll at least sort of update my progress as well as explain my project a bit, and then I think next week I'll have something more concrete to demo. But yeah, with that being said, yeah, so my project is really building on top of the work that Thomas has done, specifically on top of the GitOps operator prototype, and that is to enable sort of a similar workflow for a lot of the other entities that haven't been implemented yet. So for example, SLI configs, SLOs, remediation configs, and WIPA configs for Keptn. So currently, I'm working on the SLI configs, and that's something that I hope to demo next week. But yeah, so I guess the main benefit here is to achieve like, or to bring Keptn closer to a GitOps workflow as well. I guess in addition to that, being able to manipulate the entities via like kubectl and the Kubernetes API versus what's currently happening, which is using the internal Git repository, which we want to try to limit. So yeah, for my project, I'm heavily leveraging Operator SDK, which is obviously also built on top of Kube Builder. So again, this is the prototype itself, and actually just make sure. Yeah, so if you, I guess like I said, I'm working on top of this repo, which is the GitOps operator. So if you take a look, it's really nicely laid out thanks to the Operator SDK framework, where a lot of so like the entities you'll be able to recognize right away through the API, which you can generate via the CLI. So for example, like Keptn instance, this is the resource. This will generate the resource itself, as well as the corresponding controller, which will reconcile and apply the logic for the resource. So yeah, as I mentioned, that's what I'm building for these resources, and that's sort of yeah, that'll take me to I guess like October. And yeah, so this is obviously my project page. And then if I go back to so again, in terms of implementation, I'm just not as far along as the others, just because I'm again like a few weeks like shifted in terms of the timeline. But let me see. Yeah, this right here is what I'm currently working on. One thing that I'm looking more into, and that I'll be looking more for feedback from the mentors as well, is how to deal with the controller itself, and also how kind of service level indicators are, I guess, currently implemented and monitored in Keptn currently. So yeah, I think this is already like most of the pseudocode for the resource itself, and then the next piece obviously is the corresponding controller, which hopefully by next week I'll be able to demo. Yeah, that's about everything from me. Again, not as much progress, but yeah, if anyone has any questions or feedback, I think we're mostly on the GitOps operator working group page. Oh, whoops, I think I stopped sharing my screen. But yeah, yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, and I'm not
Okay.
sure if this was mentioned, but Eric just switched his job and switched to a different, moved to a different country, so it's been really hectic. And we had to timeline by a couple of weeks, but otherwise, I think he's been really communicative about it and really on the really owning what he's doing. For those of you who are not aware of the Keptn GitOps operator, it essentially allows you to run Keptn without the CLI command. You just get custom resources to set up your Keptn, set up your entire Keptn. And what Eric is doing here is to add support for some extra custom resources like SLI, SLO, webhook configs, and all of that, which would really enrich the already existing ecosystem that we have for Keptn, setting up Keptn using custom resources and controllers. So, yep, really interesting stuff to come in the future. That's all.
Nice start.
Awesome.
Yes. Okay. Rajiv back. So Rajiv, you want to continue where you were?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Take another 5 minutes or 5 or 10 or something, and then we'll talk about what we want to do from there.
Yeah. So I think my screen is visible, right? So I what I was talking about multi-doc support, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
thing we wanted multi-doc support. So has a multi-doc support where docs folders we folder in different, like I have duplicated 2 record docs CS automation you go utils. But we wanted something a script which can pull all the docs and here. Just now we have just added manual docs, but we are pulling it in 0MD document. Like you can go if you have like all the docs will be different repo docs will be here. Like I have a Keptn Go utils. So when we go here, Keptn Go utils repository, we have a README file. So I'm just rendering it. We don't have a content here. If you go, we're just pulling it off. So like that, we wanted some robust action. Like even I mentioned it here. So we wanted some like GitHub action which can like say save a lot of time. Like we don't have like we have so many nested contents and all, and it's very as of now it's working. Like we have GitHub GS DevOps collection documents and changelog for that. It is also rendering on the 0MD. So yeah, so that I'm working on. Also like to mention like we have to move a lot of documents. We have current Hugo doc side. We have a lot of documents from older to new, and Hugo have some templates we can't run in Docusaurus, and we have to see that whole documents where the templates are there and convert to JS. So that also I have to tackle that. So I think so okay. So I think I don't think I need to rescope the work because I think only the GitHub actions left. Yeah, so that's about my presentation.
So shall we open it up for questions and discussions for all projects?
Yep. That was awesome demos.
Pardon?
It was really good demos.
Yes.
Is anyone having any challenges with GSoC in general? Or everything's going pretty smoothly?
Can you say that one more time?
Oh yeah. Is anyone having any challenges like with GSoC or the project in general? No.
I can quickly chime in, but I think my challenge is a little bit unique, just because like I think the time zone difference is a lot more impactful than I expected.
Where did you
But
move from, and where did you move to, Eric?
so I moved from Vancouver, Canada, to currently I'm in Boston, in the US. So yeah, it was yeah, there was a bit of like visa issues and some unexpected things that kind of put me out of commission for a few weeks, but I definitely appreciate the flexibility of the mentors. But yeah, I think like in terms of I would say like one thing that I learned or that I know I need to be better at is like communication and like um, just and being quick with that, just because like the time zone difference might add like half a day or a day to when people can respond, and so that just adds a little bit of lag that that I need to be more aware of, I think.
Yeah, it's a common problem. I personally always never leave the ball in my court. So if I ever need something from someone, I just slack them straight away, and then it sort of sits with them until they can do it. But time zones are a common problem, especially, I guess, if you're not in certain parts of US or Europe. You know, APEC, like no one really cares about. So yeah, I feel you, Blaine.
And
Do you have
I
any
think
like?
go on, Eric.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask if there was like, because I think like what I'm trying to do is like I've set up like an asynchronous kind of stand up type thing, as a way to at least keep others updated. But I was wondering if you guys had any like tips for dealing with for stuff like that, I guess.
No, I think we're all having to learn to get better at asynchronous. Because boy, it is a 24-hour day.
Also, Eric, I'm in Colombia at the moment, so I'm sort of closer to your time zone if you ever want to message
Oh,
me.
nice. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know.
So probably a few hours in front of you, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Colombia. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not British Columbia, the Spanish Columbia.
Right. Right. Awesome.
I think that the problem is in case of Eric's project is Thomas is an European time zone, I am an Indian time zone, and Axel is also in. I'm not sure where it's from, but it's I might be wrong. I think he's also in a time zone closer to Indian time zone. So it gets really difficult for Eric if he wants to ask something. One of the things that we could try is obviously, I think if someone is willing to help from US time zone, that would be great. Other would be getting good at asynchronous communication, but what do we really mean by that? One thing could be working out loud. That is, if you're working on something, just start a thread in the public channel and type as you do things, so that others could catch up. But that also uh, you'd have to type out and do things essentially, but that would really give everyone else insight into what you're trying to do. That could be one. And the other something that I'm trying to do now is to see if we can find a time slot for you, so that you could just reach out on Slack and we could get on a call and pair program and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. That'd be awesome.
And
Right.
I would
Yeah,
suggest
we're
just
all
switching
learning
that.
to do stuff. It's asynchronous. Another thing that sometimes works for is like you file an issue and you can have the discussion in the issue. And then it can be all asynchronous, but you've got it all together in one place where you can keep it. Depends on what you're trying to address, but that can be useful. And if anybody figures out how to handle these time zones, please let us know.
Maybe we can get John and Trace to pay for our flights and we can meet in Vegas or somewhere.
Sorry, no, we got to learn to do this with everything remote. We can't
Yeah,
Oh,
it was worth it.
that's
Us.
one of the big challenges.
Yes, that was a very, yeah, I like that idea. I like that idea.
Oh,
Okay, I think I'll stop recording and then we'll
Yeah.
just have a casual chat. Okay.
So I think you guys did great, and we look forward